Hi, my name is Jamie Holt, owner and physical therapist at Holt Physical Therapy and Performance Training in Raleigh, North Carolina. We see a lot of times an athlete may sprain their ankle either on the field, during competition or practice. And a lot of times they don't know what they should do to get it stronger, to get them back on the field. So we thought we'd put this video together for you. If you've ever been walking down the street or down the curb and all of a sudden you just kind of step funny and roll on your ankle real quick and come back off of it, that's your proprioceptive system. What it does is it kicks in as a reactive safety measure, and once you sprain your ankle, this system gets disrupted, so it's important to really strengthen and get the balance and proprioception back. I thought I'd take a quick look at the anatomy here, and because it's going to be important so you understand what's going on. Most ankle sprains are inversion in nature, and so you can get a tear of the anterior talofibular ligament, you can get a tear of the tibiofibular ligament, or also the calcaneofibular ligament. One basic exercise that you can certainly do, and we'd recommend early on, is doing some ankle TheraBand strengthening. Just grab a band or some tubing, and you can do dorsiflexion like Will's doing here. We're also going to do plantar flexion. Now these are just the exercises we like you to do. You certainly should do either the RICE or the MEAT protocol, which is movement based. The RICE is certainly rest, ice, compression, and elevation. But with the MEAT, you want to get some movement going, some exercise, do some analgesics, and do some training. Here you see the 4 different directions that we're having Will strengthen his ankle. So dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, eversion, and inversion. It's really important to get these muscles going early on in the rehab process. Now we'll start doing a little bit more balance type activities to really reinforce that balance and proprioceptive system. I call this one star reaches. So I want to reaching forwards, sideways, backwards, as far as you can, and be controlled on that side. A lot of times we can lose ankle dorsiflexion when we sprain our ankle, and that can be critical when we're trying to fully rehab and return to sport. Once this becomes easy, you can stand on an RX pad or maybe an old pillow at home just to make the surface a little bit more unstable and a little bit more challenging. As you can see, it become more difficult, and you should be able to do this towards the end and before you fully return to sport. Another good one is a step down. So just find a step at home. Maybe it's an 8-inch step and you don't have to go all the way down, but we're going to do a medial step down. Again, you see we're working the balance and the proprioception and also ankle dorsiflexion of that injured ankle. And like the other ones, so that becomes easy, then you can start using that pillow or the RX pad underneath to make it a little bit more challenging. Another simple one that sometimes people forget to do is just your basic calf raise. I think it's important to get this involved as well. You can do two leg calf raise, so you're going up and down with both. You can also transition to where you go up with 2 legs and then down with the injured leg. So you're working the eccentric motion of that calf. And all of these should be pain-free in nature, and probably recommend icing after you do your exercises. Another good, more functional, balanced, proprioceptive one is a PNF pattern movement. So just take a small weight, which he's going to do, he's going to start with his arm up overhead, and he's going to go down and bend and try to put that weight behind his injured ankle. So he's in a diagonal PNF pattern, working strength and balance in multiple planes here. And once that gets easy, if it does, you can certainly go back onto that pillow. Now a single leg balance toss. If you don't have a partner, you can use a pole or wall like Will's going to use here. Just stand on your single leg, throw your ball back and forth against the wall, or if you have a partner, they can throw it to you and maybe make it a little bit more challenging, maybe not throwing it right to you. Here we have him adding the pad involved to make it a little bit more difficult and a little bit more challenging. So these are just some basic strengthening exercises that you can do to really work on getting your strength, balance, and proprioception back into that ankle. Again, it's really important to reestablish that proprioceptive system, because a lot of times when you sprain your ankle, like I said, you disrupt that system, and then when you go back out to play, if you haven't trained it in a balanced type way, then you're going to be more likely to sprain your ankle again and again. So if you sprained it once and you're having recurrent ankle sprains, rest doesn't fix this problem. You've got to work on the balance, you've got to work on the proprioception, and these are some exercises that can help you. If you have any other questions, if you need some more help with your ankle sprain, please feel free to reach out to us at holtpt.com, phone number 919-803-0738, or as always, you can reach me on email at jholt@holtpt.com. Have a fantastic day.